The Morning Beat, Channel Q.
Welcome back to the show. All morning long, we're having conversations. We had one earlier with the head of communications for GLAD, who is actually in Colorado Springs right now helping the owners of the nightclub and those affected by this tragedy handle the press. And that is really something we don't think about a lot.
Yeah, but it's a huge lift.
Because the press swarms any sort of tragedy like this. And the last thing people need to worry about is like how to handle that.
Yeah.
Our mental health is sort of all over the place right now. We all have different emotions that vary between anger and just pure sadness, fear, despair. And here to help us work through some of that is our dear, dear friend. And there's no better person on the planet to help right now because he has the most soothing voice that you'll ever hear. It's our marriage and family therapist, James Guay. James, how are you?
Doing as well as can be expected given this situation, this traumatic event, for sure.
Well, and that is so interesting because I don't want to put the pressure on you. I want you to understand that this is a safe space for you as well, because we're all going through this. And my best friend is a therapist, and I remember kind of talking to her through the height of the pandemic and about how difficult it was on her. So, as a therapist who is also a member of the community, like how do you process this? How do you approach a week of sessions with clients who are going to be talking about this?
Yeah. It's challenging because therapists are people too, right? We're human, and it's important to gauge our own sort of way of relating to this and making sure we have the skills and the tool sets and the knowledge, but we got to apply them, right? Otherwise, we can have vicarious trauma, hearing everybody's experiences with this, relating to this, seeing it on the news. We can experience compassion fatigue. So the healthcare providers that are intimately involved in helping people process this event need to pay attention to these things too.
I just yesterday, our good friend Sophia, she officiated our wedding back in June, and she lives in Miami now, and she sent a private text to my husband and I just saying, thinking of you guys and sending you so much love. And just the fact that she understands deeply enough to even send that was the most thoughtful thing I received yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not about me. But it is. It's about all of us, really. And as we approach Thanksgiving, we found out this news at the end of our Friendsgiving, where we were all celebrating love, and then we heard this tragic news coming from Colorado Springs. But Thanksgiving is coming up this week in a few days, and I'm kind of curious to know your perspective on. I've always been an advocate in my family for bringing up difficult conversations to get people to have them, because I felt at least safe enough to do that, and I pushed the envelope a lot. But as we gather around the Thanksgiving table, are these conversations that we should be bringing up? Do we need to bring them up? Should we avoid them? Like, how would you advise a client?
Well, I'd advise us all to prioritize our mental, emotional, psychological health and well-being, right? So if we're in a place where we can handle those conversations, despite the responses, if we have trustworthy, compassionate family and friends around us that can hold us and help us to process and heal, it really is context dependent. It's perfectly fine and valid if you don't bring it up, if it's too much for you, or, the people that you're going to be around aren't going to be empathic or understanding. And it's also perfectly fine if you want to advocate, and use this as an experience to talk about prejudice, discrimination, and how that impacts, our lives and violence that occurs towards us.
As you're saying that, it makes me think about, something that I benefit from, and I doubt I'm the only one, is something really simple I can cling to is like, this is something I can use to navigate. And so I wonder if you can share a tool that folks can use when these things are brought up and perhaps we don't know how to react, like AJ was talking about the text he just got, and also something we can use when we're not sure how we feel or we need help processing. Just some quick tips that we can hold on to in our back pocket that we can have at the ready.
Sure. Well, it's important to recognize that whatever immediate reactions we have to a traumatic experience like this, is perfectly valid, right? It's, we can have negative responses. We can also have positive responses where, there's greater determination or resolve, or we're feeling more involved or challenged or engaged, or we're connecting with our social support networks. But there are very common negative reactions as well that we need to pay attention to. So to not demonize those reactions, to not minimize or ignore, but to acknowledge them. And then ultimately, whatever our response is, there's a variety of things that can help. Being in a relationship with trustworthy others is one of the most important things that we can do.
I
To
love that.
connect, to feel a sense of community and care and love and compassion.
Well, listen,
It can, right?
we trust you, and I wish we could talk to you all day long. We have so many people calling in this morning, and these are all important conversations. Marriage and family therapist James Guay. Go follow him on Instagram. You have really, really powerful content, very healing content. Somebody actually DM'd me the other day asking for your information because they were so moved by you. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
You're very welcome.